Welcome to my blush collection, everyone. This is this is a lot of products. I don't actually think, is everything even in frame? I don't think it is. Okay, this is a lot of blushes. Listen, I sort of discovered blush a couple of years ago. Before then, I didn't wear a ton of blush. I really was more of a bronzer girl, but I really fell in love with blush a couple of years ago and basically proceeded to buy everything. I do still really love blush, so I don't see myself having a tiny blush collection, but I know that there are quite a few products in here that we can let go of. So let's do the numbers first. Let's see, at the beginning of 2025, I had 18 blushes. I finished one of them, which I have never finished a blush before, not ever. It was my ColourPop Super Shock blush in the shade Drop of a Hat. I finally finished it. I'm so proud of myself. Then I went on to purchase 11 more. I went a little crazy, okay? I don't know what to tell you. So that gives me a total of 28 blushes here. And while I don't like the idea of decluttering just so I can reclutter with more, there are products in this pile that are not working for me. So I have creams, liquids, and powders here. I'm going to... Where do I even start? Let's start with a couple of my favorites and then we'll do a couple of declutters and we'll kind of alternate back and forth between them. This is one of my absolute favorites. This is the Pat McGrath Labs. What does she call it? The Divine Blush Legendary Glow Color Balm. Pat and her names. This is in the shade Divine Rose. This is the most lovely, juicy balm blush. It is just so plumping and gorgeous on the cheeks. I love this blush. What I don't love about this is the packaging. This is some of the cheapest packaging I have ever seen. And from Pat McGrath, obviously we have all heard the news about Pat McGrath. I don't know what's going on with that company. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with it. I really love Pat McGrath. It's one of my favorite brands and I own a lot of Pat McGrath products. I really enjoy the aesthetic of her brand and a lot of the products she has put out. However, even I can admit that she's made some odd choices. And one of those odd choices was the packaging of this blush. Like I've said before, this is ColourPop packaging. This is not luxury brand packaging. We don't even get a magnetic close here. And this has come open in my bag a couple of times. Not fun. Really lovely product. This doesn't set down significantly. It does stay a little bit tacky on the skin. So if that's something that really bothers you, you probably want to stay away from this, but I really love the look of this on the cheeks. Not the most long-wearing product on me on its own, but while it does last, it's absolutely gorgeous. Definitely hanging on to this. A couple of other cream products. I want to get these out of the way just so I can put them back in their magnetic compact. These are from Salt New York. These are the cream, Lip and Cheek Cream Tint Pros. This is in Wine and this is in Sunburn. I really enjoy Salt New York products. These are just some really lovely cream blushes that just sink so beautifully into the skin. They have the perfect amount of sheerness in them. They can be built up for more color or they can be sheared out. They're just juicy gorgeousness. This is definitely something that you can wear on a no makeup day. Really enjoy these products. They're a little bit messy to use, but I do love them. So I am going to hang on to both of these as well. Something that I don't love as much. We might as well get to it. Let's talk about the Give Me Glow. This is a whole thing, okay? I've got one still in the box here because I accidentally bought two of the same shade, the Marvelous shade here. Give Me Glow was clearancing off this collection, including their bronzers. This is in the blush. We'll talk about this later, why this is in the blush collection. But these were in their clearance section for $4 a piece. And I don't know. It was an impulse buy. It was an impulse buy. And like many of my impulse buys, it didn't pan out, okay? These are some beautiful shades here. This is called Dear Diary. And this one is called Movelous. These look so right up my alley. I feel like in the camera, their reading is more similar than they do in real life. These are beautiful shades and I love these cooler, dustier pinks and mauves. Really enjoy the colors. When I ran into a problem was with the formula. These blushes have a white base to them and that can be a little problematic for a couple of reasons. The white base kind of sits on my skin instead of really blending into it. You're not going to be able to tell from the swatches, but if you recall Natasha Denona's Love Palette, there's a cream blush in there that has a strong white base, and a lot of people reported a similar problem. That white base just made it look strange and unnatural on the skin instead of sinking in. Now, I think if you were significantly fairer than I am, that white base might not be a problem, but it looks a little strange and artificial on my cheeks. In addition to that, because of the white base, in that place where my blush and bronzer overlap, it turns ashy. It turns a really unpleasant ashy color. So I really struggle to make this work. I think I can get away with it if I'm not wearing any bronzer, but I'm usually wearing bronzer and blush together at the same time. And this is just a no-go if I'm wearing bronzer. That white base just really ruins the whole thing for me. So both of these, again, I think if you were fairer than me, these may work better on you than they do on me. As it is though, I'm going to be decluttering all 3 of the blushes. And then I have the Bronzed Bombshell from Give Me Glow. This was in the same sale. This is in the shade Sunburn. This I love. This is wonderful. It does not seem to have that same white base that the blushes do. You can kind of, I don't know if you can tell, but you can see a little bit of the tone. It's got a little bit of sheerness that the blushes don't have. This is technically a bronzer, but as you can tell, there's a very distinct rosy tone here. I was thinking it might be a really nice bronzer, but it is a little too pink even for that. It does very much mimic the look of a sunburn, and I find that can be just really pretty sometimes. So I really enjoy this one. And while it is technically a bronzer, I definitely use it more as a blush. So we're keeping this one. Here is one that I didn't think I was ever going to declutter. This is my Pat McGrath Labs. I don't know why I still have it in the packaging, but this is her, let's see, Skin Fetish Divine Blush in Nude Venus 2. This is a really pretty matte blush. I thought I was going to hang on to this forever. It's a really soft, pretty, rosy pink. Just a really pretty blush. I just don't reach for it. When I reach for a Pat McGrath blush, I will usually reach for one of the face palettes that I have that will give me a glowier result. This is a matte blush, which is not my favorite finish as far as blushes go. The Pat McGrath face palettes that I have either have glowy blushes in them, or they also have a highlighter I can mix with those blushes to get a more luminous finish. So as beautiful as this is, and as much as I love Pat McGrath, I don't use this. So I think I would rather just pass this on to somebody who is going to enjoy it a little bit more than I am. Okay, here is probably my favorite blush of all time. This is the ColourPop Drop of a Hat Super Shock Blush. I finished one of these early this year, and this is the replacement. After I finished the first one, I realized that ColourPop did not have any of its Super Shock blushes on its website, and I panicked a little bit and hunted this down on Amazon. I had to restrain myself from buying more than one because obviously I don't need backups of backups. But this is my favorite blush of all time. I actually swatched this alongside just the last little remnants of my other jar of this. I swatched them next to each other. I will insert the photo here. This new Drop of a Hat that I purchased is a little bit warmer and peachier than the original one, which, I mean, obviously I wish they were identical because that original one was my absolute favorite blush of all time. It would be nice if they were identical, but on the cheeks, I don't find the difference to be enormous. So I am really happy that I was able to snag one of these before they disappeared forever. I don't know why ColourPop has discontinued their Super Shock blushes. It's ridiculous. It is their best formula of blush, period, as far as I'm concerned. Another blush that is very similar to that one, but in powder form, is the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. This is an oldie but a goodie. This is a new compact of this blush. I had it in my collection long ago. It shattered, and I lived without it for a long time, and then I recently repurchased it. I'm going to swatch it here. They're very similar in their effect on the cheeks. Drop of a Hat is a little bit deeper, and the Luminoso, it has a little bit more coral in it. Anyway, both really pretty blushes. They both have a gorgeous glow. I am keeping both of these. Okay, we need to get rid of a couple of more of these. I think I have several blushes from AOA Studios. I don't know why I keep buying from AOA Studios. My track record with their blushes has not been amazing. I have ended up decluttering most of their blushes, not because I didn't like them or they weren't good blushes, but because I didn't like them particularly more than the other things I already have in my collection. This is the Color Flush Liquid Blush in the shade Mahogany. This is actually a really, really pretty blush. It reminds me a little bit of the Rare Beauty. It is very pretty. I don't reach for it over some of the other similar blushes I have in my collection. This actually reminds me a lot of the Salt New York blush in Wine. I actually want to swatch them next to each other. Okay, Wine has a little bit more red. Mahogany is just a hair more berry. I don't reach for this one. Every time I go to my blush drawer, there's just something else that I like more than this one. So I think this one can go. These two have particular problems. This one, the AOA Studios Skin Glow Serum Blush, this is actually a really pretty blush, but let me show you the problem with this. This is so messy. It is so messy. It was leaking in my drawer, and I just don't have time for packaging that's going to fail on this fundamental of a level. Now, I'm not mad. This is a $2 or $3 blush. Obviously, at that price, I'm not going to get really phenomenal packaging, but I don't know. I feel like this is a fundamental failure. You had one job. You had one job, and you have failed. This is getting decluttered. This one, this is the AOA Studios Hue Days Blush Balm, and the problem with this one, well, first of all, it's in a pot. I don't know why I picked up a blush that was in a pot. I don't love potted blushes. The color is pretty. Again, it's kind of along those lines of the Luminoso, but I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but this has an enormous amount of silver glitter in it. I was so disappointed when I saw that, just because I don't know, I love the shade, but I saw that glitter and I was like, no, that's not going on my face. So it's getting decluttered as well. As you can tell, my success rate with AOA Studios blushes is not fantastic. So I really need to stop buying them. I do it because it's easy and it's inexpensive. I want to try something new. I really need to seek dopamine through another avenue, because that obviously is not working out for me. This is the one AOA Studios blush that I am going to be keeping. This is called the Venetian Romance Creamy Blush in the shade Duchess. And I just told you that I don't like pot blushes, and I don't, but this one is a little less offensive because it's not so, the product is closer to the top than the other one. Although if I use this enough, obviously that's going to change. But the reason why I like this is the color. It's a nice formula. It is a nice, smooth, blendable formula. But that color is just, it's unusual. I don't think I have anything else in my collection that's quite that shade. And I love it. One of my complaints with less expensive brands is I find their colors very on the nose. Every drugstore or inexpensive brand puts out the same range of shades in their lip liners, their lipsticks, their blushes. They're all very saturated. They usually lean very warm, and they're extremely simple, straightforward colors. There's going to be a warm pink, there's going to be a warm brown, there's going to be a beigey taupe color. There's just not a whole lot of nuance or variation in the shades of some of these product lines for less expensive companies. And so whenever I see a shade like this that's just a little less common, maybe a little bit murky, maybe it's a little desaturated, I really appreciate that. That's one of the reasons why I purchased the Give Me Glow products, is because I bought some of their lip liners, not last year, but the year before. And I was so impressed with the color selection. Just very interesting shades that I don't often come across. I was so impressed by their color selection. That's why I went for the blushes. And I still do think their color selection in their blushes and bronzers is excellent. Very nuanced and unexpected, maybe. And I really appreciate that about Give Me Glow. And if the formula for the blushes had worked for me, I probably would have gone back for more. Not that I need, not that I need more, obviously, but I do really appreciate a brand that can give me an interesting and unusual shade in my color cosmetics. So I'm hanging on to this one. Here's one that is almost finished. This is not a Rare Beauty blush. This is a knockoff. I picked this up on Amazon. I think the brand was Dan Visit, and the shade was 02 Mauve. This is a Rebecca shade if there ever was one. That is gorgeous. You can see some windowing in here. This is probably going to end up being the second blush I have ever finished, and I'm very excited for that. This is really pretty. It's not nearly as pigmented as the Rare Beauty blush is, so it's a lot easier to wear. I don't have to be quite as careful as I have to be with Rare Beauty, but this was definitely a gem. Unfortunately, I don't believe it's available anymore. I think I checked a few months back and I could not find this particular shade, but I will be hanging on to this one. Okay, we need to talk about this one. I'm a little embarrassed, to be honest. I don't know what came over me. I must have blacked out. This is the new Tarte Macaron Blush and Glow Duo. It's a duo, so technically I probably should have put it in my face palette collection because that's what I'm doing with most of my products, but I don't know. It felt right to put it in with the rest of my blushes. So you've got a cream on one side and you've got a baked powder on the other side. Okay, listen, it is so pretty. It is so pretty, but this thing is $38. I do not know what came over me. I had a handful of gift cards. I kind of lost my mind, I think. That's my only explanation. But I really like it. I really like it. It is really, really pretty. I especially like the powder. I feel it is just so blendable and it's glowy and delicious. The cream is also very nice as well. I don't often pair them just because I find the cream pigmented enough that if I wear both of them together, it's usually a little too much on my cheeks, but I really love them both. They are beautiful blushes. They're a joy to apply. They blend out so easily and they look lovely on the cheeks. I should not have bought it, but here we are. Definitely hanging on to that one. Speaking of products I probably should not have bought, I must have blacked out when I bought these too. I think each of them were roughly the same price as the Tarte. I don't know who I thought I was when I picked these up, but honestly, I can't be too sad because these are so pretty, especially, so this is Peach Pop and this is Pinkgasm. Pinkgasm is my favorite because it's glowy. Peach Pop is so pretty in the summertime, especially on tan skin. Just, gorgeous. I love both of these. I was a little crazy to have picked them up because that price is wild, but I love them both and I will be keeping them. Okay. Something that I can get rid of. I think I'm ready to let go of this one. This is my, this is a Lancome blush that I have had in my collection for a long time. This is Shimmer Pink Fling. This is so pretty. It's one of those very cool pink blushes that were very well loved a couple of years ago, and it is really pretty. I just don't reach for this type of color, and given that this is the oldest blush here, of all of these blushes, this is the oldest one. Yeah, I think it's time for this to go. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter that one as well. Okay, a couple that I'm definitely keeping. These are my Essence Pure Nude blushes. I have one in the shade Berry Cheeks and the other one in Bold Heart. I think these have been discontinued. I saw them on sale on Ulta. Most of the colors were gone. I think these were discontinued, and I'm so sad about that. These were, honestly, in my opinion, some of the best blushes in the drugstore. So this is Berry Bliss, and this was, what was it called? Bold Heart. These really were very reminiscent to me of Hourglass products. They have that really soft, gentle luminosity to them. There is no glitter here. I have been told that there were shades in this line that had glitter. It's just these two, fortunately, these two did not. And I have loved and used these well. You can't tell. Because they're baked, well, maybe you can tell. The dome is, well, no, you can't tell. You can't tell, but I love these blushes. I have used them a ton and will continue to use them. The only drawback, the one drawback, look at the hinges. Look at the hinges on this packaging. Both of these, they're cracked and they are about to go. I don't dare put either of these in a makeup bag because that'll just finish them off. This kind of packaging, it's so obnoxious. They always break, always. It's Essence. I can't be picky with the packaging, but I feel like that's a design problem. We should have moved past that by now. Another one I think I can let go is this one. This is from Becca. Okay, that's how old this Lancome blush is. It's older than the Becca, and Becca hasn't been a thing for a while. This is the Rose Gold Illuminator. It is shattered, which is not why I'm decluttering it, because I could repress it, but it is too dark to be used as an illuminator. So this was very much a blush topper for me. Very, very pretty. I just don't reach for it, to be honest. I put it in a couple of projects trying to get myself to use it a little bit more. I just never did, so I think it's time to get rid of it. I'm probably going to keep the packaging though, because I do find Becca packaging just adorable, and this little mini one is so cute. So I'm probably going to keep it and press something else in there. However, the product itself can go. Then I have this Wander Beauty stick, this duo stick. I think we can probably let go of this one as well. So it's got a highlighter on one end and the blush on the other. This is what the blush looks like. It is actually a really nice formula, and the blush is so pretty. Then we have the highlighter. I never use this highlighter. Oh my gosh, but I don't know why. Look how gorgeous that is. Oh, you guys. I shouldn't have swatched. I'm having second thoughts. I was so ready to declutter this, but look at that. I'm keeping it. That is just, that is so pretty. No, I have to keep it. I'm going to keep it. I haven't picked it up in a while. I mean, obviously, if I'm surprised at how gorgeous it is, it's been a while since I picked it up. But I'm going to have to put it in a project or something to get myself to use it, because that is absolutely gorgeous and should not be overlooked in my collection. So pretty. Okay. Against my better judgment, I'm hanging on to this one for a while longer. Who knows? We might see it in my 2027 declutter. We'll just have to see what happens. Okay, we only have a few left. This is the About Face Cheek Freak Blush Balm in the shade Score. It is a very purple blush. On my olive skin tone, it reads as pink. I really enjoy this color. I really enjoy this formula. This is a really lovely blush. I'm so glad to have discovered it. And yeah, I'm hanging on to this one. It's unlike anything else in my collection right now. I think the closest thing probably is the Venetian Romance Blush Balm from AOA Studios. But this one I think is a little warmer than the About Face. They're both so pretty. Yeah, I'm hanging on to this one. This is brand new to me. This is the Rare Beauty blush in the shade Faith. It's just a little mini. This is the first Rare Beauty blush that I have ever owned. And I get the hype. They're really nice blushes. So pigmented. I honestly would prefer they were a little bit less. Okay, well that didn't look pigmented. Look, that just made me a liar. I swear to you, on the face, these things are super pigmented. They're known for being pigmented. That one is shearing out so well. Oh my goodness. Okay, there we go. That on the cheeks, that's a lot. The thing that I think I like the best about this formula, it is a little bit more pigmented on the cheeks than I would like it to be. I think it would be easier to work with if it was a little less pigmented. But the thing that I like the most about it is just how long wearing these blushes are. You can tell they really sink into the skin and they stay put. It is a really, really nice formula. Hanging on to that one. Okay, here's another one that's very new to me. This is the Sephora Colorful Blush in the shade Morning Blaze. So they're Colorful Blush Glaze. This is their new line of glowy blushes, and oh my goodness, are they glowy. These are so pretty. Again, we've got that kind of corally pink with a golden shift that I seem to like so much. But this one, the pigment on this is pretty intense, but my fingers are also a little damp. So that's probably exaggerating it a little bit, but this is such a pretty color. And it does sheer out really, really nice on the cheeks, and it's got the most gorgeous glow. That is just delicious. Love it. Very pleased with it. Hanging on to that one. Okay, we've got two left here. I don't know, I got that Rare Beauty blush on everything. Okay. Okay, this is my Flower Beauty Scribble Stick in the shade Bittersweet. This is a multi-use stick that can be used on the face, the eyes, and the lips. And unlike most multi-use products, I actually like it in all three of those places. It is a really pretty kind of red undertoned brown. I really do like this one on the cheeks. I have two other colors. I have Caramel and Espresso. Espresso is great for a really quick daytime smoky eye. Caramel is lovely as a bronzer, just all over the face. And this is a beautiful blush and lip product. That is how I prefer to use this. I just really love these scribble sticks. I'm sad about Flower Beauty, to be honest, because this is a great product. I love traveling with these. Not only are they very small, they pack really easily, but they are durable and they just make such a quick, easy face of makeup. Love these scribble sticks. Okay, last one. This is the Revolution Icon Blush in Aura Points Rose. I picked this up kind of as a way to dissuade myself from picking up the new Patrick Ta blush duo in She Goes to the Gym. I really liked the look of that one. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think the shades are comparable. I don't think they're the same at all. Of the color stories Revolution had, I feel like this was the one that spoke to me the most. So it's got a nice cream here. It's not the most blendable cream I have ever experienced, but I can work with it. Then it's got a powder blush here that I would say is just fine. There's nothing amazing about it. It's fine. It's a fine blush. I feel like when I put this on, I like how my cheeks look. Then there is this very shifty kind of blush topper slash highlighter. And I think, honestly, this is probably the only thing that makes this trio noteworthy. I don't reach for it all the time, but it can be pretty over the other products. Anyway, I do feel like with a lot of times with Revolution, you get what you pay for. Revolution rarely wows me, to be honest. And I think this is the same. It's fine. It's not amazing. It's fine. I'm going to go ahead and hang on to this one a little while longer, but we may end up seeing it in my 2027 declutter. We'll just have to see how it goes. That is all 28 of my blushes. Let's count how many we are decluttering. Okay, and then how many we are keeping. Final count here. Let's see. Okay, we're keeping 19 and we're decluttering 9. Okay, more than half of them are products that I purchased last year. These are new products that didn't work out for me for one reason or another. Looking at these new products, they all have something in common. They were impulse buys. These were not well thought out, well considered purchases. These were impulse buys. The products that I put more thought into are the ones that I still love and I'm still using. The ones where I kind of got sucked into a sale maybe, or a less expensive brand, and I just, honestly, I'm just going for a hit of dopamine in the new makeup purchase. Those are the ones that aren't working out for me. I think there is a lesson here for me to learn. I can do better than this. And if I do, I really feel like I'm going to end up in a place where I'm enjoying more of my collection. So that is my goal moving forward. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.